When I was little, at the age of I think from 3 is when they started taking me to church. And probably from 3 to about 12, I attended church every Sunday. And then I became more competitive in sports, and we had tournaments on the weekends, and I'd practice every night. So we pretty much stopped going because we didn't have time to do, we had to do our chores and stuff on Sundays when we finally got home. So we really didn't have time to go to attend church. So we stopped attending church, yeah, like I said, probably around 12 years old. So my life has pretty much been occupied by grades, schoolwork, focused a lot on sports, played many sports, and I also have a girlfriend that I've been dating for almost 4 years, and that's pretty much how I spend all my time. Well, I chose to come to Bowling Green State University, and it's approximately 2.5 hours away from my hometown. And there's where I had my reputation and my identity, where I played sports, I was a jock. Had a girlfriend that went there. She was a senior when I graduated. So I had to leave her behind. I didn't get to see her as often like I did in my hometown. I lived there. And pretty much I had more time here when I came to school, when I didn't have to go home do sports anymore after school, so I had time just to sit and think. And I also became aware by Chris Coons. I met him at the beginning of this year, and I met him through another friend, and we actually ate lunch together almost every day throughout the school year. I overheard him and everyone else talking about Jesus and the Bible and talking about Christianity, and I started getting the more and more I heard about it, I started getting more interested, and I wanted to learn more. So I actually attended a Bible study with Chris, and he brought up the Ten Commandment test and showed me that I personally thought I passed it. I think I was passing the Ten Commandments, but really Chris informed me that if you fail one, you fail all of them. And then at that point, I knew there was time for a change. I started talking to Chris every day, more and more. I saw him every day, so I started talking more about the Bible and Christianity. And I actually started attending Bible studies at his apartment every Wednesday for the last month and a half. And every Wednesday we discuss something new about Christianity. We look at song lyrics, compare them to what that performer, songwriter, how they feel. We also looked into the Bible, read the Bible, and we all analyzed what we thought each verse meant, what we got out of it. After a Bible study where we talked about the Ten Commandments and how if you fail one commandment, you fail all, because God wants you to be perfect. We also learned that Jesus made a sacrifice to himself, or God sacrificed his only son on the cross so we could have a clean slate. And then after that point, when Chris asked me if I was ready, there was nothing holding me back, so I committed myself. I prayed to God, and I understand that he sacrificed his only son to save me, and I feel like I owe it to him to put all faith in what he has done and what he has ready for me. I've actually began praying more than I ever used to. I catch myself praying all the time now. One thing that I have started doing is I used to take the Lord's name in vain often, a lot, and that's one thing that I now changed, and it actually annoys me when I hear other people saying it, and I'm actually glad that that's one thing that I've stopped doing. Before I started with these Bible studies and before I met Chris, I wasn't aware the things that I was doing were wrong. But after learning about the Ten Commandments and what they really mean, for instance, one we talked about was murder, and in my mind that means killing somebody. But Chris explained that that murder is defined as ever feeling hatred towards another person. And I've hated on people before, so I know I've already failed that. And after all this, I understand that I do a lot of things wrong in my life that God would see as me being a bad person, and that I'm not perfect. And I feel like now one thing I want to do is I want to start going back to church. So when I go back home next week, one thing I definitely want to do is start attending church every Sunday. And I actually want to start reading more into the Bible and just continuing to put all faith into God's hands. My name is Blake Fortney, and Jesus saved me.